Look, I understand why he's such a feminist, because he really isn't much of a man.
Wow, we are seeing record levels of humiliation for Justin Trudeau. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got Fox News humiliating Justin Trudeau. We've got Australian news humiliating Justin Trudeau. Not even one newscast. There's multiple newscasts in Australia that are just embarrassing the guy. We've got a former Liberal MP shows up at a Pierre Poilievre rally and humiliates Justin Trudeau. This is a mortifying level of embarrassment for Captain Schmuck. Let's jump into this.
But I want you to know that I am a proud feminist.
Well, he seems very proud of himself right there. I mean, Kennedy could have counterpunched it any lamer.
No, I watched that and I went, wow, Justine Trudeau. What
Governor of the Year.
What brand of tampons do you use? Proud feminist. Like, my goodness. Ooh, I'm trembling with fear. Please don't invade us with your soy boyness.
Lauren, okay, so the Canadian Prime Minister insults all Americans. That's what he did.
It just seems so unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. Justin Trudeau is a schmuck. So this is what we have going on in America now, just making fun of Justin Trudeau. This next clip here, posted by the pleb, former Liberal MP showing up at Pierre Poilievre's rally to support him, calling him a real leader. First off, I'll just note here, Brian and Lily, who's reposting this, it says Liberal MP Eva Nassif, who endorsed Pierre Poilievre here, she represented the Laval area riding known as Vimy, but Trudeau, the feminist, refused to allow her to run over her thoughts on SNC and Jody Wilson-Raybould.
I was doing my best to support and put my community and work hard, and maybe they didn't want people like me, but it's not a big deal. We have a real leader who can bring common sense to Canada. Happy for you, and good luck, Mr. Poilievre.
A former Liberal MP, that is so embarrassing.
Wow, isn't that incredible? I didn't even know she was going to be here. A former Liberal MP, another strong woman who's decided to support the common sense Conservatives and bring home the country we knew and still love.
This is unbelievable. Like, Trudeau the feminist. This is so bad. This looks so bad for Trudeau. Look at that respect Pierre shows her. This is a man who respects women, unlike Trudeau's fake feminism words that are betrayed by his actions towards women. Ooh, ouch. Liberal rats are jumping ship. Yeah, Captain Schmuck is steering the ship right towards that iceberg. So with that, now jumping over to Australian news.
Hey, I'm reasonably well travelled, but I've never gone north of the border there. I've never been to Canada, but I'm pretty keen to get there. And one of the reasons is I'd love to meet the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. We all need a bit of guidance, bit of moral inspiration in our lives, and I think he's given it to us in this clip.
The United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president.
Mark, he's still a proud feminist, but he just thinks they elected the wrong sex in the US.
Was that Justin Trudeau? I barely recognised him when he's not in blackface. I barely recognised the man. That's I can't believe that's him. But what a goose! You know, he's completely wrong as well. Kamala Harris didn't get elected because she was a woman. She didn't get elected because she was an idiot. That's what happened. So there's anything worse. If you saw it from the American election, he's pandering to the left wing isn't going to get you the votes that you need to survive, and he's got a hell of a fight up against him.
Something to note, if they had somebody else in the Democratic primary, so it wasn't Joe Biden who ended up being the one who won it, even though Kamala Harris took over to actually go up against Trump, if they had someone better, someone fresh, someone with some new ideas, it probably would have been a closer vote, but I'm guessing Trump probably still would have won. Kamala Harris's far left, super woke views is what drove people over to the right side. The ones that were floating in the middle were undecided.
It's not going to work to get himself to get elected, and worse than that, he's just completely wrong. So I know he's in a bit of trouble, old Trudeau.
Yeah. Mark mentioned the blackface. You know, he has a history of blackface, and I think we've got a picture here of Justin Trudeau in blackface. Tim, he could have actually put himself up as the first woman of colour to be elected in the Canadian Parliament.
Oh yeah. And the first Cuban, if certain rumours are true. But I'm always amazed at this, where people just disregard, as Mark said, they disregard all the policies. It's just gender, it's just sex. But I'd like to say something, being a proud feminist myself, I'd like to say something completely non-sexist, a statement of pure non-sexism, that a woman is equally capable as a man of being an absolutely terrible candidate. Just as hopeless, just as useless as the worst man. So, you know, there you go. You've got a totally level playing field.
We've seen this in Canada with Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland, both incredibly incompetent, both completely unqualified for their jobs, both doing a terrible job.
We've had two women candidates in the US. Great. The fact that they've lost, admirably so, is not because they were women. It's because they ran with awful campaigns and everybody hated them.
This is exactly right. I mean, Joe Biden is a center-left politician. Kamala Harris is a far, far left. The people of America wanted less woke.
Indeed. So when you have a look at the current First Lady of the US, you can see the impact that Kamala Harris has had. Have a look at Jill Biden.
So I hope that you all feel that sense of, you know, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, I don't know, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need like this, you know, we all need to feel joy now.
Well, if you're wondering how she ever got to sound so wise and inspirational, well, she got that from Kamala Harris. Have a look.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning.
I'm sorry, when does joy cometh? Is in the night? Or no, it's in the morning, that's right.
Oh, it's just embarrassing stuff. There you go, Mark. It proves that you and Tim are both right. You know, it's about the qualities of the individual. Forget about the skin colour and the genitalia.
Exactly, mate. It looks like the only way they're getting any joy at the moment, Kamala and Dr. Jill, is through happy hour at the moment. But to be in contrast, I'm full of joy. I'm so happy about what's going on in America.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tim, Time Magazine are weighing up who they're going to give the Person of the Year mantle to. They've talked about Kamala Harris. She's on the short list, as is Princess Catherine and Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and the first female president of Mexico. Surely it's that man top right, though. He's the Person of the Year. He's come back and done what nobody thought was possible, really, historically.
It's amazing, too, if you think about Elon Musk, the guy who started a car company to get off of oil, make electric cars for the environment, all of that. And he swung the whole company, his whole views, over to the right side, right wing. He was a left-wing guy. I mean, his company's based on that. Swings it over to the right because what they were doing on the left there in America was just too wacko. And now he's going to be part of the government and advisor to Trump on cutting out government bureaucrats and optimizing the government.
Absolutely. I mean, the only way you'd go for Kamala in that lineup would be if, you know, she's done the verbal equivalent of what Trudeau did in Canada. She's done black voice, which we just heard an example of there before. But just like, as a former Time Magazine staffer, I'd just like to point out that the whole Man of the Year, as it was originally, it wasn't an honour, it wasn't a celebration, it was just to note the most significant human being.
And jumping over to this broadcast here, just a few seconds of this broadcast. It's pretty funny.
Army, do you think Justin Trudeau is upset because Donald Trump has been hilariously mocking him online? He recently posted to Truth Social, "It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we may continue our depth talks on tariffs and trade, the results of which will be truly spectacular for all." Army, I've got to say, this trolling is epic, but how tragic is Trudeau? The guy is such a poster boy for the pathetic.
Yeah, first of all, let me make clear that Trudeau is definitely not the son of Castro. Just so we're clear. And look, I understand why he's such a feminist, because he really isn't much of a man. I would say that he's handsome, but doesn't have a lot of masculine qualities, if you ask me. You know, I think it's, first of all, stay out of our politics, please. Nobody asks your opinion. No one wants your opinion. We were happy the way this thing worked out. This was a landslide, a modern day landslide anyways. And of course he wanted Kamala Harris. He wanted the weakest person possible as president so he could have his way. What he got was a very masculine Donald Trump who simply will have his way with Canada and Trudeau. But
that's an interesting take. You know, I never really thought about that. But yeah, if someone was a lot weaker like Kamala Harris, Trudeau would have more power to maybe sway her, push her around a little bit, or not get pushed around himself because he's such a weak loser. Justin Trudeau, Canada's biggest embarrassment. As a Canadian, he's embarrassing. We could be reading these comments all night. We've also got Ben Shapiro making fun of Justin Trudeau. This just doesn't end.
Well, meanwhile, President Trump has basically proposed that we annex Canada, and I feel like they will greet us as liberators at this point because Justin Trudeau is just absolutely the worst. So Justin Trudeau spent the day yesterday bashing Americans for not electing women. I'd like to point out at this point that Canada, I believe, had one female prime minister who lasted something like 6 months. Now, unless you count Justin Trudeau, who may, in fact, identify as a woman at this point. This man is so unbelievably stupid, and also probably Fidel Castro's kid. And a lot of people are angry at me because I don't believe in enough conspiracy theories. That's my favorite one. So I'm just going to put it out there that he's Fidel Castro's kid. Whether it's true or not, it's hilarious. Anyway, here's Justin Trudeau bashing Americans for not electing Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris. I'd almost forgotten Kamala Harris's name. That's how quickly she passed from the national... It's amazing. We will be greeted as liberators. I want the tearing down of the Justin Trudeau statues. They'll be flying American flags. Donald Trump will roll in there with like 3 of his boys and just take over all of Canada. If this is the quality of man that Canada has decided to make the prime minister, my goodness. Pierre can't come fast enough. That is for damned sure.
That is for damn sure. Next up, we got Anita Nand, who's more concerned with racism and discrimination in the public service, government jobs, than all other issues in Canada. She wants DEI to be a top priority.
The elimination of racism and discrimination in the public service. I want to make sure that we have a public service that is diverse and that truly represents the demographic composition of our population. Thank you so much.
Cuts to public service because the deficit.
This is the worst way possible to pick people for jobs. You should always pick the best person for the job, not the best person of a certain gender, of a certain color, a certain race. That makes no sense. I'm sorry, but it should always be the best person. If you're building a rocket, you pick the best rocket engineer. Why would you not pick the best person? Woke till we're broke. We got one more clip here from Australian news that says Justin Trudeau makes painful speech describing himself a feminist.
You can both breathe a sigh of relief because now you have an ally in Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I know you'll be excited about this. The governor of America's 51st state has proudly declared he is a feminist, and he's angry, as most feminists are. He's angry that the US chose not to elect a female president. Caroline, you must be thrilled to have an ally in Justin Trudeau.
What would I do? How would I ever manage, progress in life without that man doing my fighting for me? Thank God he is there. I just find that extraordinary. I just watched that and I actually kind of feel sorry for him because I actually think he might believe it, James. I actually think that he might believe that women all around the world need a paddler like him to do our work for us, which obviously isn't the truth. I mean, the funniest thing about all of this, James, is just this last week, he's had to schlep down to Mar-a-Lago to go take a knee for Donald Trump because that's what it wasn't meant to be like. This was actually never anything to do with women or women's rights. His side of politics was meant to win so that he wouldn't have to genuflect to anyone on the centre-right. So that's actually what he's really upset about.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd be more comfortable dealing with a woman than dealing with Donald Trump. Evelyn, Kamala didn't lose because she's a woman. She lost because she's a Marxist. But if Justin Trudeau is so concerned about getting more women into leadership, I mean, he could always step aside for a woman.
Yeah, look, that was honestly one of the most painful speeches. And as a woman, I would like to be very far away from him and not have him in my corner. Just throw it.
I mean, the fact that they just brought this up on Australian news, is he going to step aside for a woman to take over in Canada here? I mean, there'd be a leadership race, but there could be some corruption in there where he guarantees one of the women in the party to win. Who knows?
Throwing that out there. But I'd also like to point out the fact that the Liberal Party of Canada, Trudeau's own party, has actually never in its history elected a woman as its leader. But then again, after that speech, I wouldn't blame any woman for not wanting to be a part of Trudeau's party. You know, it was just woeful. But once again, these are the guys that like to imagine themselves as champions of democracy. But that is until the mere peasants, you know, do something that they don't like, oh my goodness, you know, vote in Trump in a democratic vote. But, you know, that's when they start, you know, getting nasty and basically saying that, you know, the peasants who voted for him must be stupid or misogynistic, they hate women, etc., etc. You know, the quicker that Trump turns Canada into the 51st state of America, the better for all Canadians and I think the rest of the world.
Well, that's what Trump's threatening to do, and I think that might be behind Trudeau's, you know, they should have elected a woman speech. Incoming President Donald Trump has invited Chinese President Xi Jinping to attend his inauguration next month. Caroline, I wanted to ask you, is this a good move by Trump?
I think this is a Trump move. I don't think there's any real right answer here. I think this is peak Trump flex. This is the sort of thing that he would do. Hi, mate, welcome. Enjoy the lobster before we hit you with tariffs. So I think that it is probably a bit unorthodox. I mean, I know that for various sorts of state occasions and inaugurations, various people and world leaders get invited to these things. But I think it is. I think it's just a nice reminder. For Trump, not only as far as Xi is concerned, but to other world leaders, that he's not going to take a backward step then when it comes to, doing what's best for America.
Yeah, this is an ultimate flex. That's what that is. He wants to have Xi Jinping right there, looking him right in the eyes as he's getting sworn back in. Then, as she said, slap him with the tariff. So, a flex by Trump. We'll see what happens. Is he going to go forward with those tariffs as well? It's only 10% is what he said to China versus the 25% to Canada and Mexico. Trudeau doesn't defend women. He defends woke men. He's not a feminist. Female MPs either quit or got fired if they disagree with him. That's true. Jody Wilson-Raybould. A fake is a fake is a fake. Canada is being held hostage. There it is, Jody Wilson-Raybould. I rest my case. How much more embarrassment can Justin Trudeau take? At what level does the guy just throw in the towel like, okay, yeah, people don't like me. Maybe it's time to step down. Are we at that point yet? Are we at that point, Justin?